gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirt Revival Tour here at USA International. We have got something of electric proportions going down for you guys tonight. My name is Mac, but the people on the internet call me Arsenal, and you are tuned in to Arsenal TV. And like I said, tonight we have the drivers of the Dirt Revival Tour mini-series, whipping these super late models around USA International. It's going to be one hell of a time, and I cannot wait to get started. Drivers are just finishing up practice here on the track, but before we get too far into tonight's show, there is something I want to address. Over the past 5 days, there have been an outbreak of tornadoes across the South, the Midwest, and the Eastern United States of America. There are currently 28 innocent lives that have been claimed through those tornadoes and those dangerous thunderstorms and wind gust damages. So from, the one-man team here at Arsenal TV, you guys are in our thoughts and prayers. And if that has affected you in any way, I am terribly sorry for your loss. And I hope that now, if you are safe, if you are calm, if you are away from that bad, just terrible damage, that maybe this broadcast here tonight can help you unwind and maybe just sort of start the healing process and moving on from that. And as we get ready to start qualifying here tonight, we have Kenneth Davis here. Him, JJ Crow, Will Bennett, and I believe that is it, will be our first group out in qualifying here at USA. It's going to be a tricky track here tonight. As you saw in the race info here, Jesse Newsom is your current championship leader. Can he hold on and possibly grow this championship lead? We will find out shortly, I would imagine. And Hayden Tollison, after a tragic late race accident, he got sent to the back at Lernerville. He was a shoo-in, an absolute shoo-in for finishing in at least the top 2 last week, I apologize. Can he fight back? Can he get some much needed points? As this season is only 4 rounds, so we are only going to have 2 more races after this week for the mini series. So if you want to win that championship, you have got to step up, and you have got to step up now. But as the first group of qualifiers is getting ready to be finished, Jeffrey Hyatt runs a 20.683. JJ Crow just barely behind him with a 20.74. And Will Bennett behind him with a 20.79. And now we've got Aaron McGee in that 23 late model machine, although if we take a closer look, it does appear to be number 8 on the car. I have talked with the owners and operators of DRT. They are going to get that number problem fixed. I don't know how quickly they are going to do it. I don't know how long it is going to take with new members jumping in and out and all of that, crazy chaos. But Dylan Jones is currently going to go fastest here as he runs a 20.638. Daryl Best behind him with a 20.932. And Casey Borgmeyer, as he winds up his qualifying run, he is going to be on the board with a 29.7. I appreciate everybody stopping in for the second week of the Dirt Revival Tour. Last week, you guys tore it up on the support, reaching a max viewers of 31 at one time during the feature. And let's see if we can keep that support rolling on this week. It means a lot to have that many of you guys out watching. I haven't been doing this, broadcasting stuff that long, but, seeing those numbers, it really motivates me. It really pushes me to up my game and truly be as good as I can on the mic and on commentary. So next group to go out here looks like it's going to be Zach Gold, Aaron Bowman. There should be a couple more out there. The SDK is not picking it up. However, Zach Gold is, I believe, on his first hot lap, running that number 9 black and gold machine there. Absolute dime piece of a livery here tonight. If he's going to cross the line, that is going to be a 29.31. Aaron Bowman just ahead of him with a 29.02 in that 44. Also, ironically, kind of a black and gold. Super late model. A lot more of a stealth look there. Amazing looking livery from everybody at that, looks like, AVR team. And as always, before we get too far into this show tonight, I want to thank the sponsors of this Dirt Revival Tour mini-series and eventually the big season that these guys over in Midwest and DRT have planned for you guys. Coast to Coast Sim Sports. Obviously, they had a full podium, 1, 2, and 3 last night. So very good. Very fun to see them representing. Elite Signs and Graphics out of Zanesville, Ohio. More Metalworks Welding and Fabrication team. And Willie T Performance. Those guys are making this prize pool and making this series possible, so go show them love on their socials, in their stores, online, or IRL. I don't care. Just show them some love. And your championship leader, Jesse Newsom, in the number 11 super late model representing Coast to Coast Sim Sports, has taken his machine to provisional pole with a 20.621, over a tenth and a half faster than Dylan Jones, who is in P2. Nate Wimhoff going to run a 28.07, good enough for P8. So currently out on track now, we have Braden Moore in that number 17 Midwest Sim Sports super late model. He is looking to come across the line for his first flying lap. The track is in a really good state right now. Expect these times to be up towards the top, as we saw with Jesse Newsom. As that is going to be a 21-103 for Braden Moore. That is going to be good enough for P13. And Hayden Tullison in that number 327 Super Late model. He is going to run a 29.62, good enough for P12. As he improves his time a big margin, 20.716. That is good enough for a provisional top 5. Sorry guys, I just have a little bit of a technical difficulty I have to check in on, just real quick like. I appreciate you guys stopping by the streams, all that good stuff. We're trying 2 separate stream paths tonight. I am basically putting my PC and my internet through double the workload to get both of these streams out right now. So if there is a little bit of a lag here and there, I do apologize. Unfortunately, we are now into the broadcast. We are a good bit into the session here. So I won't be able to stop stream and restart or tend to any technical difficulties if they do arise. So if there are some, I will just have to address them and fix them for next week. So once again, I apologize if that applies, but so far so good as of right now. As we currently have William Thayer, who just got done with his qualifying. Same thing with Dylan LeMastro. 12th and 13th for those 2 drivers respectfully. Cole Kirkman is going to run a 21.083. That is going to be good enough for P17. As now Joseph Grandy and Brandon Jones are going to try their best to procure a good qualifying spot here for the heat races coming up tonight. They call it the Dirt Super Speedway for a reason. If we pull up the track info once again, we do have a 3/5 mile track here, something you don't typically see in the dirt racing world. That's why they call it the Super Speedway of Dirt, as this track has been absolutely polarizing throughout the iRacing community for as long as its existence. Some people love it, some people absolutely despise it. However you feel, it makes for amazing racing most of the time, and we are going to see that. I have no doubts that we are going to see that tonight with these drivers. I said it last week. I bragged on the boys. I'll do it again. This is some of the most talented group of dirt drivers I have seen in a very, very long time. As I try to play a game called Who's the Guy Going Out to Qualify Now, is going to be Carson Jenkins in that 62 late model. He's coming around turn number 4 right now to start his first flying lap. We'll see what he can do. Opting for a real high line there through 1 and 2. as I'm sure with him being one of the last to qualify, he doesn't really have the nicest of picks when it comes to qualifying. Across the line, that is going to be a 20.776. He is going to be safely inside of that top 10 at P8. Coming around for his second lap. Can he improve on his time? Out of turn 4, straightens it up and across the line. It is going to be a 20.78. So almost identical lap times from Carson Jenkins. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did run the exact same lap. No, okay, there it goes. There, now it updated. He ran 1,000th slower. That is crazy. That is consistency, ladies and gentlemen. As now we have Joel Phillips in that 55 late model. As we're going to head on board with him as he is passing the start-finish line right now, looking to start his first flying lap. He's going to take right about the same line as Carson. And across the line, it is going to be a 21.17, and he is going to hit the wall violently. So we have Brady Cornett now out of Georgia in that number 2, almost bubblegum super late model. Justin Byram also out there, I believe. As he is going to be on the board with a 21.052. And that number 19 Coast to Coast Sim Sports, a late model. And I've been told by higher ups it is time for sponsors again. I kind of jumped the gun on it just a little bit. Just a little bit. So I apologize. So I will go over them again. Of course, you see them on the top right of your screen all night. Up first, we've got More Metalworks Welding and Fabrication. Big shout out to them. Go to them for any of your welding and fabrication needs. Willie T Performance. You can always go to them for all of your performance needs. Coast to Coast Sim Sports, who we just seen Justin Byram, I believe, manager or owner. He's got a managerial position at Coast to Coast Sim Sports. Shout out to them. Elite Signs and Graphics out of Zanesville, Ohio. You can see their number right there. Go to them for all your graphic design and sign needage. And that is going to be the sponsors again. They didn't give me a thing to read. I'm just I'm freelancing it. So I apologize. If anybody from any of these organizations are reading or are watching this, then please send me some info if you want me to say it on stream during the sponsor allocated time. But as always, they will be in the top right of the stream for the entire stream all night. So if you have any questions, there it is. So as we get prepared for our first heat race here tonight, allow me to show you guys on the right side of your screen the weather. It's going to be about 5:45, 6 o'clock whenever we start racing here tonight. 77 degrees, a little hot, but nothing too crazy, as these drivers are in a decent position weather-wise. They'll have a pretty normal track, nothing too crazy that they're going to be racing on tonight. However, it is time to go over your grid for heat race number 1. So, in P11, Daniel Wallace. Row number 5 is going to consist of Justin Byram and Thomas Fargo. Row number 4 is going to be Brandon Jones and Casey Borgmeyer. P6 is going to be Dylan DelMastro. P5, Zachary Metzner. Row number 2 is going to be JJ Crow and Will Bennett. And row number 1, Jesse Newsome and James Murphy, with Jesse Newsome starting where he left off in the front. As we take a look at our Dirt Revival Tour blimp here tonight, we'll be seeing shots from the blimp all night tonight, as we paid a lot of money to have this blimp fly over virtual Lakeland. As the lights are off on the pace truck, which can only mean one thing. We are about to go racing. Jesse Newsome in an incredible spot here tonight as he leads the first heat of the night. Oh, I guess the pace truck lights being off means nothing in dirt. I apologize for that. A little quick to the gun, they say. A little quick to the gun, I am. I just call it like I see it. I'm like CM Punk on that one episode of Raw where he had to do the commentating because they had no confidence in Triple H. Now you look at Triple H and he is almost running the entire company. Will that be me? One day, Mac Nelson, Arsenal TV, owning the entirety of iRacing? Probably not. However, we can enjoy some super late models slinging mud around USA International. Jesse Newsome will have the button, and he pulls it quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we are green for round 2 at USA Heat Racing at its finest. Jesse Newsome out to an incredible jump, an incredible lead. These heat races will be 10 laps tonight. Dylan DeMastro looking to make a move on Will Bennett here for P3. As this battle is about to get chippy between Will Bennett and Dylan DeMastro. Fortunately, nothing has come to a head yet as Dylan DeMastro is going to clock the wall. And that is going to be his race done. Justin Byram, I believe, collected a little bit of that, along with Casey Borgmeyer. As we head back up front, Jesse Newsome with a 3/4 of a second lead over James Murphy, who has the exact lead over Will Bennett behind him. So only 3 drivers will be transferring out of these heats. And unless something magical happens, it is going to be Jesse Newsome, James Murphy, and Will Bennett. Brandon Jones a second and a half away from Will Bennett and that last transfer spot. As Thomas Fargo and JJ Crow were getting a little antsy here towards the rear end of the field, battling for P7, as Jesse Newsome has just went purple for the night with a 29.2. We might have a scary sight on us here tonight. Jesse Newsome looking like he just went to cryo sleep as soon as Lernerville was over and woke up 10 minutes before qualifying here at USA, because he is in perfect form as we are white flag. Jesse Newsome, James Murphy, Will Bennett. Almost no competition for these drivers, as Jesse Newsome is going to be your first heat race winner here tonight. James Murphy, Will Bennett, Brandon Jones, Casey Borgmeyer, Justin Byram, JJ Crow, Thomas Fargo, and Daniel Wallace as it lies. So good heat racing there. Way to open up the night. Jesse Newsome doing his thing as we prepare to go straight into heat race number 2. Starting at the back, P11, Jeffrey Davison. Row number 5 is going to be Cole Kirkman and Nicholas McDougall. P7 is going to be Joseph Grandy with Dane Hedrick on his outside. William Thayer is going to be P5 with Zach Gold, P6. Row number 2 is going to consist of Carson Jenkins and Nate Wemhoff. And row number 1 is going to be Hayden Tollison, and in your pole position is going to be Dylan Jones. As we get ready to go racing here, we'll have a look at all these great liveries that are blessing all of our eyes here at Arsenal TV. Dylan Jones going to be your pole sitter for this heat race number 2. As he is looking to continue a decent performance at Lernerville. He had an incredible first half to his heat, running up the boards. Can he do it again in heat race number 2? Only time can tell, as this pace truck is going to make his way off the track. Dylan Jones is going to fire out of turn 4. And we are racing the 62 of, I believe, Carson Jenkins. They are 4 wide down the back straight, starting this heat race number 2. As now we have Hayden Tollison and Carson Jenkins. They're all fighting for it. It is a 5-man dogfight here going into lap number 2. make that 6 because Cole Kirkman is heading up there. They're starting to spread out a little bit, but what an amazing opening 2 laps. Here, as Hayden Tollefson is going to go purple, he's going to throw the slider on Carson Jenkins. He is going to get that to just almost stick, not quite enough. They are bumper to bumper. As Hayden Tollefson is starting to get just a little bit of an advantage. It's crazy how a 10.5 compared to these first 4 laps feels like a big advantage. But Carson Jenkins is not giving up quite yet, as he is going to go bar for bar on whatever line Hayden Tollefson plans on taking. Behind all that, Nate Wimhoff holding down his final transfer spot, but William Thayer has something to say about that. As back up to the front we go, Hayden Tollefson absolutely burning that top line. As Dylan Jones, unfortunately, in that entire kerfluffle, I don't even know what to call that, skirmish, chaos, war, he slipped down all the way into P6, so your pole sitter currently sitting 3 spots out of the transfer. Hayden Tollefson just ran purple as he booked a 28.17. Isn't going to be that fast on this lap. However, he does boast a 1-second lead over Carson Jenkins, who is behind him. Nate Wimhoff is going to be behind him in that final transfer spot, with Cole Kirkman being an entire 1.5 seconds behind him. As where did it all go wrong for Dylan Jones? Who looked amazing boxing with the Giants in Hayden Tollefson and Carson Jenkins up front. Unfortunately, could not keep it there. As coming down the back straight for the final time in this heat race number 2, Hayden Tollefson in that 3:27 late model. He's going to take it home. Carson Jenkins behind him. Nate Wimhoff in that final transfer spot. As we get ready for heat race number 3, we have got Kenneth Davis representing 3D Racing in P11. Row number 5 is going to be Braden Moore and Joel Phillips. Ian Lindell and Brady Cornett are going to make up your row number 4, with row number 3 being K-Dub, Kevin Walker from East Coast Sim Sports, and Aaron Bowman in P6. Aaron McGee and Daryl Bass are going to make up row number 2, and the JR Setup Shop driver Colton Jordan is going to be P number 2, with your pole sitter for heat race number 3 being Jeffrey Hyatt. As we get ready to hear the Super Lates roar again here at Lakeland. I want to take a moment to just acknowledge the 28 plus who have lost their lives in the recent tornadoes in the South, Midwest, and Eastern United States. Our thoughts and prayers are with you from everyone at Arsenal TV and Midwest Sim Sports. Hopefully you can find just a little bit of solace watching the broadcast here tonight. As we get set for our third heat race of the night, we are halfway through our heat races. As Jeffrey Hyatt will be the one on command. He will have the whole grid at the palm of his fingertips. And at his toe tips. That sounds a little weird. But he's going to pull the trigger, and we are heat racing here. He gets out to an incredible start. As we go 3 wide here, 4 wide almost, with Colton Jordan, Aaron McGee, Daryl Bass, and K-Dub, Kevin Walker. As now things are going to start to get a little clustered in the back. That's about 6, maybe 7 cars. All fighting for the same real estate. As I think there might have been contact between Brandon Moore and Ian Lindell back there. They are going to get scrappy. They've got no time to waste. They've got a lot of spots to make up. And that's going to be Brady Cornett, I believe. Or sorry, maybe it was... might have been K-Dub, actually, that 24 car. Jeffrey Hyatt is going to run the purple lap here. He is going to boast an incredible second lead behind Colton Jordan. And that is also going to be replicated behind them. But Daryl Bass does not share that pleasure, as he has a whole pack of cars looking to take that final transfer spot. As there big contact between Braden Moore and I believe that's Joel Phillips and Aaron McGee. I don't believe we are going to go yellow. We are going to go yellow in this heat race. As these cars tone it down for just a little bit, they settled the dust, sorry. And we're going to go take a look at Braden Moore here, who, as you can see, was just fighting and fighting and fighting for that real estate. And that was the 2 of Brady Cornett, I believe, who came up. And unfortunately, Braden Moore was just the one collected there. So a tough way to go out for Braden Moore, as there might need to be things said to Brady Cornett, as he absolutely sent that corner with, I don't know if he had any real intention on actually making the corner. But alas, that is not up to me. That is up to our fabulous race officials with Midwest Sim Sports. As we are going to get these drivers lined back up. Their job is not finished yet, as they still have a couple more laps to make. And I'm sorry for the dead air, guys. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I just really don't want to have the same thing happen tonight as it did last week, as that is going to be a very early release from Jeffrey Hyatt. The pace truck wasn't even on the track, and that is going to be, I believe, the 90 of Daryl Best. That is going to be... that might be a suspension for the entire night. Daryl Bass, who I believe will have a look, but I believe it was Daryl Bass in this number 90 who just absolutely sent it into the grass with no hopes of staying on track whatsoever. The number 2 of Brady Cornett also getting into it. That cuts Daryl Bass's corner pretty much in half, as he is going to just absolutely take out the 55 of Joel Phillips, the 44 there of Aaron Bowman getting involved as well. That is not a good look for Mr. Bass, as that might be... he might be forced to park it for the night. I'm not sure. We'll figure out here in a minute what the officials decide to do, but the Speed Ranch driver just absolutely sending it. It was never going to work. It was never going to work out for that driver, as this heat race number 3 is actually going to end on caution, I believe. That's what the SDK is saying. So that is going to be... I'm so sorry. I hate to break your immersion, folks. I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting that. That's going to be Jeffrey Hyatt, Colton Jordan, and... or, sorry. That is going to be Jeffrey Hyatt, Colton Jordan, and Brady Cornett getting through. I'm sorry that all happened so fast. I wasn't able to see, as I thought we were going to have 4 heats, but it looks like we are only having 3 here tonight. So I'm just all over the place. I apologize for that. We are in the C main here tonight as we go over our grid for that. Joseph Grandy, representing Inferno Motorsports, is going to be P12. Kenneth Davis, P11. Dylan Del Mastro, P10. Dane Hedrick, P9. Ian Lindell, P8. Thomas Fargo, P7. Jeffrey Davison, P6. Joel Phillips, P5. Justin Byram, representing Coast to Coast Sim Sports. He will be outside row number 2 in P4. His running mate in that row number 2 is going to be Dylan Jones, who we saw have a absolutely tragic heat, representing Midwest Sim Sports. K-Dub is going to be P2, with Brandon Jones being your pole sitter for this C main. As we prepare to race 12 laps in this C main, will we see more chaos ensue? Or will it be relatively safe as we get up in the DRT chopper for the night? We got a blimp and we got a chopper. We are really rolling in it here at Midwest Sim Sports and the Dirt Revival Tour. Brandon Jones is going to control the tempo, control the pace, and he gets to it early.
Green flag, green flag.
Outside of turn number 4. As we have Dylan Jones in the 22, almost making the same mistake that Daryl Bass did, as this top 3 has already become spread out, but Justin Byram has a little bit to say about that. He is going to be in P4. looking to make his way to the top and transfer. As we head towards the front, Brandon Jones and Kevin Walker, they are going to be fighting and jockeying for position. Brandon Jones running the high line, Kevin Walker choosing for the ladder. Down low, bottom feeding it around this Lakeland International. As Dylan Jones and Justin Byram are in the same feud. However, Dylan Jones getting out to a jump as he runs purple. That is going to be a 21.49. Joel Phillips, who is currently in the last transfer spot, is looking pretty good. Just has to defend from Dylan DeMastro, who is a full second behind him. So as it stands, we've got Jones, Walker, Jones again, Byram, and Phillips, who will be making it out of this C main. Dylan Jones just ran another purple lap. He is rolling. As there is a battle going on all the way towards the back. That is going to be Ian Lindell. Him and Dylan DeMastro are going to try to fight for that P6 position. And maybe, just maybe, take a stab at Joel Phillips for that last transfer spot. Dane Hedrick getting into the mix as well. But back up towards the front, Dylan Jones has overtaken K-Dub. And he is looking to make a name for himself. But Brandon Jones is going to run purple and have a 21.35 on his sleeve. Is that going to be enough to keep the running Dylan Jones out from that winner's spot? Justin Byram still holding his own in P4. Joel Phillips catching up to him. Looks like he is going to try to make a move down on the inside for Joel Phillips. Can he get the car to stick? Can he accelerate out of the corner? He cannot. Justin Byram is going to keep that position for now. Brandon Jones still out to a healthy lead on Dylan Jones. 0.4 of a second, but Dylan Jones is closing it. Behind Dylan, it's a 1.5 seconds to K-Dub. So it is a two-man race as we head to the white flag here at Lakeland. Will it be Brandon Jones? Will it be Dylan Jones? Dylan's got one more chance to make something stick. I believe he's just a little too far out. As Brandon Jones is going to take this B main. Followed by Dylan Jones, Kevin Walker, Justin Byram, and Joel Phillips in that P number 5. He is going to have to hit the garage and get that 55 late model fixed up for the feature. As we head to our final B main of the night. Your starting grid is going to consist of Braden Moore and Zachary Metzner working from the back. Zach Gold and Daryl Bass going to make up your row number 5. P8, Daniel Wallace. P7, Nicholas McDougall. P6, Aaron McGee. JJ Crow on his inside. Row number 2 is going to be William Thayer, and on his inside, Aaron Bowman. P2 is going to be Casey Borgmeyer with your pole sitter for the final race before the feature, Cole Kirkman. Hence, we've got two drivers on the front row that look like they're rocking the number 10. I believe Casey Borgmeyer's car also says number 10. The league has them in at 16. However, we'll get a good look here. Yeah, that definitely says 10 on the side of Casey Borgmeyer's car, so that's going to be a tough one to call. We'll see how that goes as we progress through the night. As the pace truck is about to dip off into his home sweet home, that is the pit lane. Cole Kirkman is going to have 12 cars, or 11 cars, I guess, waiting on him. He is going to wait late, unlike the other drivers here tonight, as he is going to immediately regret that decision. He has got 4 cars all on his tail. We're end over end. As I believe that will be a yellow. Yes, it will. Fortunately for these drivers, I don't think there was too much damage on the part of any of these drivers, because my SDK did not notify me that somebody crashed. So I think we probably just had an event of maybe a couple of cars turned backwards. As we're gonna get ready to go green here again as soon as they line it up. Ladies and gentlemen, what a night of racing it has already been, and we are not even into the feature race yet. We've had some outstanding performances, outstanding battles here at USA. I cannot wait to see what these drivers of the DRT get into. As we prepare for this feature. As the pace truck is off, Cole Kirkman is going to have the honors again. He's going to call it a little earlier this time. As we're going to have a look here at Daryl Bass, who is prepping a move on Nicholas McDougall, as he is not going to get that to stick. Cole Kirkman beating that inside line, but they are 4 wide behind them. As these guys are jockeying for position all over these transfer spots. It's about a 5 or 6 car battle we've got here. As the way it sits right now, Aaron Bowman in that 44 car is going to be your last transfer spot. However, Daryl Bass is creeping right on the doorstep of both Aaron Bowman and Nicholas McDougall. As that is going to be a battle we're going to have to stay locked into, as this could decide whose race ends and whose night continues. As Casey Borgmeyer all the way back here in P number 8 in the number 10 car. Down 6 positions from the start. He just ran purple as he needs to get to work. William Thayer just ran purple, however, snatching that away from Borgmeyer as he is going to be sitting in your lead position. Cole Kirkman right behind him. Daryl Bass in front of all these other guys. He managed to get around the entire pack. As now JJ Crow is going to be in your P5 position. Now it's going to be Nicholas McDougall. This is an all-out brawl for these positions. As Nicholas McDougall, Casey Borgmeyer, and JJ Crow, they are just about 3 wide into turn number 1. As we come to the green flag, it's going to be 2 to go next time by for these drivers. As the way it currently sits, Casey Borgmeyer and JJ Crow are out of it, but JJ Crow is going to see an opportunity, and he is going to squeeze McDougall high. There is going to be contact between Nicholas McDougall, Braden Moore, and Aaron McGee. Casey Borgmeyer getting the short end of the stick. We are white here at Lakeland. JJ Crow is in your final transfer spot. Nicholas McDougall gonna have to make something happen if he wants to get into tonight's feature. It all comes down to this corner. And he is not gonna be able to take it. As we are wrapped up here for this B main. It's going to be William Thayer, Cole Kirkman, William Thayer, Cole Kirkman. I believe that is Casey Borgmeyer did actually make it in, it seems. As I'm not sure. We do have the 5-minute warm up here coming at you guys, letting these drivers get attuned to the track, get it worked in to their liking. And as these drivers are going to warm up, I am going to take a quick break. I will be back for the feature. Don't you guys worry. It's Super Late Model Racing here at USA International on Arsenal TV. And we are back live, ladies and gentlemen, for the feature race here tonight at USA International. And you know what that means? It's time for the starting grid. In P number 19, it's going to be JJ Crow. P18, Joel Phillips. 17th, Aaron Bowman. 16th, representing Coast to Coast, is Justin Byram. P15, Daryl Bass. Kevin Walker, Cole Kirkman, Dylan Jones, William Thayer. Your top 10 is going to consist of Brandon Jones, I apologize. P9, Brandy Cornett, Nate Wimhoff, Will Bennett, Colton Jordan, Carson Jenkins, James Murphy, Jeffrey Hyatt, Hayden Tolleson, and in your pole position for tonight, representing Coast to Coast Sim Sports, in the number 11 super late model, Jesse Newsom. As we are getting ready to go green, it is going to be electric as we plan for 60 laps at USA International. Will Jesse Newsom find his second win in a row? Or will the Big H, Hayden Tolleson, show Jesse what should have happened last week and claim his rightful spot on top? Or will we see somebody new into the fold? James Murphy, Carson Jenkins, Colton Jordan. Don't sleep on Dylan Jones all the way down in P11. Actually, I believe that is P10. As he's got something to prove after qualifying and messing up his heat race. Jesse Newsom has the button. We are green for the main event of the evening. And as we get out to our start tonight, Hayden Tolleson is going to be right on the heels of Jesse Newsom. 3 laps in and a lot remaining. Colton Jordan runs a 22.28. That is going to be good enough for fastest lap of the race. As we've got a big battle going on for 5th here as James Murphy, Will Bennett, and Brady Cornett are all trying to get into that top 5 here early. All these drivers sizing up the person in front of them. As I take that back, Colton Jordan, I don't know if you saw it towards the top of your screen exiting that last corner. He was looking to make a move on Hayden Tolleson, and that's got Hayden Tolleson, the Big H, kind of frightened. He is going to press the issue against the number 11 of Jesse Newsom. As these 3 drivers all trying to get a leg up on each other. Oh, I apologize for that. As we take a look at our DRT chopper, if we go down the line here, you can see all these drivers taking the same line for the most part as Nate Wimhoff in the number 48 machine. He is going to take the fastest lap currently, as all these drivers are pretty much taking the same lines. As we see James Murphy with a little bit of difference in his step, but not too much. As you go to the top of the line, Jesse Newsome getting a little bit of a lead on Hayden Tollefson, but Hayden is experienced. Hayden knows what it's like to be in this P2 position. He's going to see how things go. As Carson Jenkins is going to look to make a move on the number. Ooh, that was close. The 62/14 of Carson Jenkins making a move on Colton Jordan. And now we've got beef towards the front. Carson Jenkins is on an absolute roll up there at the top. He ran a 21.92. Unfortunately, he scuffed the wall into turn 2 there just a little bit. But he is currently on rails coming around this outside, looking to make a move on the Big H. Hayden Tollefson. They are not going to make contact, I believe, as we go to turn number 3. He's in hard. He's in fast. That's Carson Jenkins looking to make a move. He is going to make it. He's got the advantage on Hayden Tollefson right now, but he's going to hit the wall again. He's pushing himself just a little too hard, but he does not care. He is firmly in front of Hayden Tollefson now. But Hayden Tollefson has the better line going into turn number 3 and 4. They come across the line. Tollefson is not going to go down without a fight. As we look behind, Colton Jordan is almost a second behind Hayden Tollefson, so it is currently a 3-car race for the lead right now. Carson Jenkins is going to shoot it in the middle between his 2 running mates. And that's going to open things up for Jesse Newsome to get a little bit of a lead going, since Carson and Hayden spent a good 3 or 4 laps there battling for that P2 spot. That allows Jesse to extend the lead just a little bit. And if we back up a little bit here, Will Bennett in that number 022. He is going to make a move on Brady Cornett, and he is going to get that to stick. Way back here towards the rear end of the field, we've got Cole Kirkman, who's in an intense battle with William Thayer for P12. K-Dub just in front of them. He is looking to catch up to the Joneses, Brandon and Dylan Jones in front of him. Dylan Jones up 3 positions so far. Jeffrey Hyatt is your big loser for the race so far. Down 14 spots. He started this race P3. Not entirely sure what happened to him, but he is currently in P17. As we head back up to the front, Jesse Newsome has a 3/5 of a second lead. That is 6/10 in front of Carson Jenkins. And from Carson, he's got a half-second lead on Hayden Tollefson. So much like, I almost said Eldora, much like Lernerville, these top 3 guys are really just spaced apart, running their own race, and looking to see if anything is granted to them instead of them going on the offensive. And after Hayden Tollefson, it's a 1.2 second interval back to Colton Jordan in that number 21 machine. I'm being informed now by the race officials that Jeffrey Hyatt was given an EOL. I'm not entirely sure why. It might have had something to do with those incidents inside of the heat. But Jesse Newsom has got trouble knocking on his doorstep as Carson Jenkins is making up a little bit of ground, as Jesse Newsom might have gotten the leader's stare, zoned out a little bit from just seeing open track in front of him. And Carson Jenkins is on the hunt as he is leaving Hayden Tollefson in the dust, 1.3 seconds behind. As Carson Jenkins is looking extremely good through this first third of the race. Coming up on lap 25 next time by. As the entire field is decently spread out here. If you go up to the blimp, we take a look at some of these drivers, as we'll have our camera guy in the blimp start panning to these individual drivers. They've all got a decent amount of space. Justin Byram in P14, he's got Jeffrey Hyatt behind him. He's also got Cole Kirkman right in front of him. But other than that, besides Jesse Newsom and Carson Jenkins, this race is pretty spread out. As we come up on lap 28, drivers running about 22.3, 22.4s, except Colton Jordan, who ran a 22.3, as Carson Jenkins might have gotten a technical difficulty. He appears to be dropping down the order, as we cannot pick his car up. That is going to be awful if his internet dropped. That is the harsh reality of virtual sim racing. Much like an engine failure in real life, your computer or your internet can just kind of up and perish on you and leave you at the time when you needed it the most. As Carson Jenkins will try to get him, he is still just nowhere to be found. As I believe that is going to be the race done for him. And for Jesse Newsom, a sigh of relief as he currently can barely see Colton Jordan in his rear view, as it's a 2.3 second drop back to now Hayden Tollefson, who him and Colton Jordan are fighting for this P2. Hayden Tollefson with an iconic switchback. Perfectly down to the edge executed that switchback, and it is going to stick. Hayden Tollefson is going to keep this position. As James Murphy looking to put his name in the hat. He is going to pass. No, he is not going to pass Colton Jordan for that P3 position. Colton Jordan now having some technical difficulties as he is disappearing off the track. But as it sits, it is still Jesse Newsome in that 011 Super Late model, repping Coast to Coast Sim Sports. He is going to be out front. Hayden Tullison, Big H, is going to be in P2 with Colton Jordan. Hanging on physically on track, but internetally, that's not a word. His internet's pooping out on him. Man, that's all I gotta say. James Murphy, like I said, is looking to throw his name into the hat. He is trying to pass Colton Jordan for that last podium spot. As we are over halfway through the race here, Dylan Jones, who is currently wanting to make a move, he'll have a look at a move on Brady Cornett maybe going into this next corner. And that is going to be a vicious slider that he throws. He is going to easily connect on that. That is going to be Dylan Jones up 6 spots into P number 6. As he is looking good currently. Kevin Walker inside of the top 10. Now he is in P9. He is up 5 spots. He started the race in 14th position. As he is in a 3-way fight, Daryl Bass, who got that 90 machine booted up and fixed quick after the incident he had earlier tonight. As Jesse Newsome in a world of his own, lap 39 coming up on 21 laps to go. Hayden Tullison has shrunk the lead just a tiny bit, but not much. It is still over 2 seconds back. And not only that, but Hayden Tullison has a very hungry Colton Jordan behind him. Rockin' Junior Setup Shop, JR Junior, I'm not sure. I'm just going to say JR to be safe. The JR Setup Shop driver in that number 21. Unfortunately, now Dylan Jones has a long way to go to catch up to Will Bennett. As we go on board with the driver of the 022. As this race has gone green, we have not had a caution yet. Jesse Newsome hoping that that yellow flag does not come out at any time, because he is looking pretty. Got that lead back up to 2.4 seconds on Hayden Tullison. Hayden Tullison also has Colton Jordan still to worry about. He cannot get out in front of the 21. Colton Jordan now trying to get creative, run some different lines, see if he can make something stick. He is going to go for a switchback on Hayden Tullison, and he is going to get the move, maybe to stick. Hayden Tullison has one option to go down to the bottom, and he is going to get it, as Colton Jordan just a little too hard into that corner. He couldn't get the momentum. He couldn't get the car set. He couldn't get back going forward instead of sideways, as he is going to rub up against the wall just a little bit, almost Gran Turismo it. Use it as some leverage to get around this corner. He is trying absolutely everything to get past Big H. As unfortunately, it looks like he cannot get anything to stick for now. As Jeffrey Hyatt, who got the EOL, he is all the way back up into P10, looking to get maybe one more spot here on K-Dub before the race is over. Coming up on 13 to go. As Hayden Tollefson is looking to get that spot back on Colton Jordan that he lost. They've been tussling for it all night. As Colton Jordan unfortunately has some technical difficulties, that's going to mess Hayden Tollefson up just a little bit. You know it. Just seeing a car blink in and out of existence while you're locked in trying to pass them has got to break the immersion, break the concentration as they are side by side, Hayden Tollefson and Colton Jordan. Midwest Sim Sports versus JR Setup Shop. Both of these drivers jockeying for position, almost like the chicken jockey from the Minecraft movie. I got paid to slip that in. Hayden Tollefson is going to move up to the high side now as Colton Jordan into that last corner, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you saw it. Colton Jordan blinked. That is the slang for it here on the iRacing service. He blinked. Hayden Tollefson didn't know where he was going to come back out at. And I think that might have been what got Colton Jordan that pass on Hayden Tollefson. As Hayden Tollefson is going to try to make this bottom line work on him. And all the while they're battling, they are catching up to Jesse Newsom. They have gained 6/10 over the last couple of laps. So if you're Jesse Newsom, you've got 7 laps to go here. Just don't blow it. Running almost 3/10 slower than Colton and Hayden Tollefson. As we're going to try to get a look at Hayden Tollefson here. We're on board with him for the next lap, as he is going to go low down below Colton Jordan. He's not going to make it work, but they are side by side. As Hayden Tollefson is going to try to take it real low down into that turn number 3 and 4. Unfortunately, not able to get it to stick. As Colton Jordan is just ripping that top side up. And as for Jesse Newsom, he is building that lead back ever so slowly. It has moved 2/10 in his favor, up to 1.8 seconds now. But Hayden Tollefson is still trying. Or he has done it. No, he hasn't done it. Everything is going crazy because of Colton Jordan's internet difficulties. As Hayden Tollefson is going to try his hardest to make it work. He's on the bottom side. He got in front of Colton Jordan. He got the full car length ahead of Colton Jordan. But Colton along the inside. He is going to try to switch it back on Hayden Tollefson, taking Hayden's preferred line. We are 2 to go. As don't forget Jesse Newsom's dominant performance here tonight, but unfortunately, that is not where our sights are going to be set. as Colton Jordan comes around. Last turn into 3 and 4. Hayden Tollison is going to be out in front. Jesse Newsome wins, but Hayden Tollison is not going to be able to keep Colton Jordan in front of him, yet it's going to be close to the line. Colton Jordan is going to take it over Hayden Tollison by mere margins. By mere margins. That is going to be a 1.3 tenths of a second. And like I said, I don't want to take anything away from Jesse Newsome. He is your winner tonight in an outstanding domination for the second week in a row. But man, that battle between Jordan and Tollison was the talk of the town tonight. As Newsome has already done his fair share of burning it down. As these three drivers are going to pose for their close-up. So before we get into the podium interviews, we'll go ahead and take a look here at the results. It is going to be Jesse Newsome, Colton Jordan, Hayden Tollison as your podium sitters for the night. James Murphy, Will Bennett, Brady Cornett, Nate Wimhoff, K-Dub, Jeffrey Hyatt, and Brandon Jones are going to be your top 10 finishers. As we wait, we'll wait for... Actually, we do have Hayden Tollison, P3 finisher on the night. Mac, up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Walk me through it, Hayden. What a battle there with Colton. Can you explain how it felt all race? It was just like the person that just kept knocking on your door and you couldn't get them to go away. How did it feel?
Felt good. You know, track was racy there the whole race, and I made a last-minute air pressure decision just to hope for late caution. I wasn't expecting it to go green to checkered, but it did, and it was a pretty good race with me and Colton there. We drove a few times. That's bar racing.
Yes, sir. It was an amazing sight to see up here in the booth, and I'm sure all the viewers can agree. But after last week, and you know, the late race woes that you did, in fact, endure, how does getting a podium finish here tonight prep you for the rest of the season, not only for the mini-series, but also the big season coming up?
Yeah, we got a lot of momentum heading into this big league coming up, and I feel like we have a winning race car. So one time we hit the track, we just gotta qualify better and put a whole night together, and we'll be hard to beat.
I agree with that. I agree with that entirely. Well, the floor is yours, Hayden. Who would you like to shout out for the performance here tonight?
Yeah, I just gotta thank Toss Motorsport, Sauce on Repair, CFME Sports, Central Speed Shop, all guys at CFME Sports, VG Performance, Sport and Transportation, High Performance C, Dave Armstrong Chassis, Youth Broadcasting League, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, enjoy your night. Hayden Tollison, your P3 finisher on the night. Take it easy, man.
You too. Thank you.
And as we move on, we have our P2 finisher in the booth, Colton Jordan. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Colton, your internet was having a little bit of a difficult time there throughout that feature tonight. Was it something that you noticed as a driver? And if it did, how did it, mess with your, mental?
Yeah, I noticed it. It was bugging through the race. my PC started heating up, and I think that's the reason GPU is running or something in there. But yeah, I was trying to be extra careful around different cars because I knew I was blinking at times. But other than that, it didn't really mess me up. It just took me a little bit to like realize that it was because I didn't realize the first 10 laps that it was doing it, and then like the last 10 laps that it was doing it, I realized. So
Yeah, something like that, I'm sure, is a little bit shocking for you as a driver. But heading into next week and, with the big season coming up, how does it feel to get, such a good result here with, just an upper echelon of drivers flooding this grid?
uh, sorry, my mom came through. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, so with such an elite grid of drivers here tonight and in this Dirt Revival Tour miniseries, how does it feel for your confidence to have such a good result in this miniseries and going into the big season coming up in a few weeks?
Yeah, there's a lot of big competition out here, and to get a back-to-back second place or a podium, feels really good, and I'm just ready for next week at wherever we go. Knoxville, I think.
Yes, sir. So, Colton, Jordan, the floor is yours. Who would you like to thank for the performance tonight?
Um, Everybody over at Coast to Coast, Justin Byram, Danny Miles, Big Red, uh, Tyler Bickford, Jesse Newsom, Mason Cassidy. Uh, I would like to thank my mom, my dad for everything they do. Uh, Fat Jill Tire Solutions, and you for putting this on. Chase Copeland and all the everybody that helps do this series, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, not Chase Copeland. He doesn't get any limelight. No, no, I'm just kidding. um,
Uh,
nah, me and him are homies. Me and him are very good homies. So anyway, that is going to be your P2 finisher on the night, Colton Jordan. Go have yourself a ball, man. We'll see you next week.
all right, we're gonna go party hard.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. And ladies and gentlemen, for the second week in a row, your winner here tonight, Jesse Newsom. Jesse, Mac up in the booth. You got a copy.
Sir.
So, Jesse, walk me through it. Once again, you put on a dominating show. You had a lead of 2.4 seconds over Hayden Tollison, who a lot of people thought was going to win this mini series championship. How does it feel now that, there wasn't a mishap? You got clean green to green or green to checkered racing. How does it feel to be able to put that gap on someone that's so highly praised in this community?
Yeah, for sure. I knew going into it, Hayden was going to have more than enough speed to be able to compete for the win. And, as the race went on and I was just rolling the bottom, trying to save as much as I could with him behind me, I saw sort of the rest of the field starting to spread out. And it came to me that if it went green all the way, I could just go up and move up and get a big enough lead that it wouldn't really matter how much he saved if it were to go green. And obviously, as you saw, it went green all the way. We led all the laps, and it worked out perfect.
Yeah, so, obviously, with you getting wins in back-to-back weeks here of only a 4-week mini-series, does having such a big lead in the championship does it make you feel like you need to drive a little more passive, or are you still going to gun for the win in these final 2 weeks?
Well, I think definitely going into the races, knowing I have a little bit of a points cushion over everybody, I can definitely feel more relaxed racing, not having to be so aggressive racing with other people for the win. But still, I'm going to go into every race wanting to win and do what I do.
Yeah, that is a great way to answer that. And so, Jesse, man, the floor is yours. Who would you like to thank for tonight's performance?
First off, I want to thank you for broadcasting it on YouTube now, and I want to thank everybody at Coast to Coast, all the people at CFM that put the time in to make the setups for everybody. I want to thank Danny Miles, Justin Byram, Colton Jordan, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a party in the Coast to Coast Discord tonight as Jesse Newsome brings it home 2 weeks in a row. We'll see you next week, Jesse.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all but it for tonight's Dirt Revival Tour mini-series. Round number 2. I've had the results on the screen there for you to look at. Once again, thank you to More Metalworks, Welding and Fabrication. Thank you to Willie T Performance. Thank you to Coast Motorsports, Sim Sports. I think it's Motorsports. Coast to Coast Motorsports. No, it is Sim Sports. Look at the logo right there. It is Sim Sports. And also Elite Sign and Graphics out of Zanesville, Ohio. Their graphic is right there. If you need any signs or graphic design needs, their number is right there. Take a screenshot, pause the stream, do whatever you have to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is late. It is time for me to depart. We will see you next week here on the Arsenal TV Twitch and YouTube page. We started the multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch. I'll have to go see why I dropped a few frames here and there, but hopefully next week, it'll be a smooth experience. Hopefully tonight was a smooth experience. I want to thank you guys all for joining me here at the Dirt Revival Tour.